Welcome back. Some businesses can't get back into their stores because of quake damage and restricted cordons. Jonathan Mitchell reports on 3 businesses who are trading on despite the odds.
It's been a tough time for businesses in the city centre. Cordons remain up around many shaky buildings and returning to normal is proving a challenge.
From what I can gather, they're going to look at fixing what's broken. I certainly don't think they're going to pull anything down.
Most of the damaged high street buildings are still waiting for the green light to either reopen or rebuild.
It's done quite extensive building damage to us. The parapets basically fell off the building, so that has in turn damaged the 2 buildings side by side. But structurally the building's sound.
Across the city, a popular cheese shop is also suffering. While the Canterbury Cheesemongers building held up to the shake, the stores on either side were badly damaged.
Our landlord and the neighbouring landlord just didn't want to have to work around it to save it, so in the end it got bowled over with everything else.
In the meantime, they've been trading as best they can, but plan to reopen in a new location soon.
Yes, we're looking at the moment, spent last week looking at possible buildings, and we've got 2 or 3 that we're interested in, and we're just seeing what happens with those, with negotiation around leases, that sort of thing.
But for all businesses, the focus is on making the best of a bad situation.
I guess at the end of the day, we wanted to react in a positive way, so we kind of went out there looking for an opportunity.
And they found that opportunity at Melba's Bar.
This is just a good chance for us to have a kitchen. It brings another dimension to the bar as well, so yeah, no, it's good.
A stroke of luck for this clothing store too.
I mean, we're lucky we've got multiple sites down here, so we've been shuffling stock around, but it has been a bit of a tough exercise.
So despite the hurdles put in place by the quake for the Christchurch CBD, the focus is on getting back to business. Jonathan Mitchell, Metro News.
Imagine not being able to enter your favourite bar, restaurant or shop. A significant number of Canterbury residents are wheelchair bound and some say they're struggling to get around. Claire Martin spent a day with those affected.
Poorly designed buildings and bad disability access have left wheelchair users frustrated and disappointed.
Access, generally, I suppose the easiest way to describe it is the ability of everyone to be able to carry out their normal daily processes, so that it doesn't matter whether you're a baby, whether you're in a wheelchair, if you're on a frame, if you've got a broken leg, you need to have the ability to go about your normal process.
However, access problems aren't necessarily solved by having a ramp.
This is a public building where we have a ramp which is too steep. So therefore a person wishing to go up this ramp, particularly in a wheelchair, is going to find it difficult if not impossible.
And to make matters worse...
So what we have here is an accepted issue, but we've tried to fix it by putting a sign up. So it's been here for a long time, so one would have thought or hoped that by now some sort of remedy action would have been taken.
The police refuse to comment, saying they don't own this building. However, they're not the only place around town that solved their access problems by putting up a sign. Some suggest alternative wheelchair accesses.
The reality is that, for example, yourself, if you approached a restaurant and it said males use the front door and females use the rear, I mean, that's offensive. And while it may not be meant as offensive, it is. So, you know, I mean, it's like second-class citizens. You go round to the back.
The key to solving the issue doesn't just lie with better access. It's about getting people to understand and appreciate disability. BJ recalls an ex-city councillor and Paralympian telling him how it feels to be wheelchair-bound.
I think, as Graham Congdon once said, if you want to understand the difficulty for a person in a wheelchair, then don't enter a building that has steps for 3 days. Imagine where we couldn't go.
You don't know what it's like to experience that because you're not actually with a disability every day of your life. Well, I am. And it would be nice to be able to have people just experience what it's like to live with a disability for a whole week and see how they would cope in their community and what changes they would like to see made.
And it seems recognising these issues could be the key.
It is a lot about awareness. If an issue is drawn to someone's attention, the overwhelming majority go, I didn't realise that will change things.
Another important starting point could rise from the debris of the recent earthquake.
Out of the disaster, and it always happens, out of disaster there will be some positives, and it's not only for access. I mean, you know, you can have a look around the town where how everyone's bonding together. I mean, out of the disaster there are some wonderful things happening.
So, as the rebuild begins, hopes are high that Christchurch City will take this opportunity to improve access problems. Claire Martin, Metro News.
Hundreds of people packed the town hall this week as the 50s Up brass band celebrated its 16th birthday in swinging style. This year's concert raised money for both the Earthquake Appeal and Arthritis New Zealand. Gracie Fee joined the party.
Top New Zealand opera singer Dame Malvina Major was the star event at this year's concert, and in light of recent events, she was only too happy to volunteer her services.
It's all for a good cause. Arthritis is great, but the earthquake appeal is at this time is very appropriate. Music is always something people go to when, you know, they've had a little bit of a shock or it's a slump in the economy or something. You know, people want entertainment.
The presentation of 2 cheques was the high point of the concert, with both Arthritis New Zealand and the Mayor's Earthquake Fund receiving $8,000 each, money which will be well spent.
This is really important for us, both in terms of raising money because we're reliant on the community for money, but also in terms of raising awareness about arthritis and its prevalence in the community. So 2,000 people knowing more about arthritis is a really good opportunity for us.
For the last 5 years we've actually contracted them as our recipients, and we've given them about $40,000 over that period of time, and this year we are actually going to split the proceeds with the Mayor's Earthquake Relief Fund.
16 years on and the concert just keeps improving.
We've built up slowly from local artists to Suzanne Prentice, then we had the Top Twins, and this year we've got the Supreme Award, Dame Malvina Major.
And it's been given the seal of approval by its famous guest.
I think that this band is world class, and I think a lot of the things we do in New Zealand, although we're in the far end of the earth, is absolutely up to world class standard. And I think to say that we aren't perhaps up to what I'm used to on the world stage is a fallacy, because we definitely are.
So with plenty of gratitude from both charities and support from the Dame, it seems the 50s Up brass band will be making both music and money for a long time to come. Gracie Fee, Metro News.
Coming up after the break, the mother of all shows. And we talk to those affected by tomorrow's GST rise.